With College Football 26 dropping today for the Deluxe Edition and Thursday for Standard Edition, you're going to want to be brushed up on the basics. Today, we are going to be covering the top 10 beginner tips for College Football 26 to beat your opponent and maybe discover some basic details that you haven't thought about yet. Tip number 1, as soon as you go into a game, edit your depth chart. You're going to do this by pressing start as soon as the game starts and going down to coaching and clicking on depth chart. Now, the reason why this is important is because it is incredibly valuable to put certain players or certain player types or really even specific abilities in certain spots to serve your individual offensive and defensive playstyle. First of which is the wide receiver tab. And Arkansas is a great example here. Look, Arkansas actually has some pretty good wide receivers, but if you look down, there's a player that's game-breaking that's not even on the field. He's not even on the chart, and that's 99 speed, 99 excel Jordan Anthony. With Platinum Shifty and Gold Takeoff, he is legitimately game-breaking if put in the right spot. Now, here's where many might make a mistake. You see a player like this, and immediately most of you will go, oh, well, then we should probably put him at number 1, right? He actually would be most valuable at the 3 spot. Now, why is that? Because if you put wide receivers at the 3 spot and scroll all the way down and go to the slot receiver tab, then you go down to that same player and put him as the top slot receiver, he will come out in the most utilized slot receiver position. Slot receivers in this game, they get better animations, they have better takeoff animations, they're difficult to press, and there's just so many more things you can do with such a valuable weapon rather than have him be on the outside and just pray that a go route gets open. Now, the second thing I would advise you to adjust in this depth chart screen is who your user is. If you're user in the D-line, let me advise you, please get off the D-line, go user a linebacker or a sub safety, something like that, so that way you can be an impact in the middle of the field and even toward the sidelines where you can user routes yourself. So taking a look at these middle linebackers for Arkansas, they're really not that bad, but in passing downs, you're going to want the best speed you can on the field, and 83 speed is just not that fast. So we're going to scroll all the way down to the sub linebacker tab. So you can see all of our options here that we can put at sub linebacker. Now you can leave this here if you want, but for me on passing downs, which is what the sub linebacker is intended to do when you come out in sets like nickel, dime, and dollar, on those passing downs, you're going to have this guy's linebacker, and I would prefer to have the speed so that way I can best lurk routes in the middle of the field. So I've already done the research on a team like Arkansas. They have a backup free safety that's 90 speed and Silver Robber. This is who I would put into the game on those passing downs. So I would go all the way up to the top. I might even sub him into the second one and then go second to first. So that way that first linebacker just goes down to the second slot and he doesn't like go off the depth chart. Tip number 2 is learning how to utilize route stemming. And specifically, I want you to play around with these on corner routes and post routes because I think that's where they're most applicable. So taking a look at this corner route to the right, very normal route concept. You will see this a lot in online head-to-head, that type of thing, versus just a regular cover 3. Hard flats might be the most popular defense in the game for years. But if we just leave this normal corner route as is, snap the ball, this is not going to be a completable ball. And more often than not, it might just get intercepted. However, though, versus the same coverage, if we stem it down, and you do that by pressing Y or triangle on PlayStation, B or circle on PlayStation, because that's the corner route that we want to adjust, and then hold LB or L1 on PlayStation. And just move your left stick up and down to see where you can put it. And the best way to get this ball, maybe you've picked up on the fact that your opponent likes to run cover 3 hard flats. If you stem this all the way down, you're going to be able to complete this ball underneath that third, whereas it was covered beforehand. So let's take a look at that here. Awesome. We ended up completing that ball, but it was a little bit iffy. It was a little bit contested. So let's show it maybe one more time. We're going to stem this all the way down and then snap this ball. Boom. Much more open catch. As you can see, it gets underneath that deep third on the right, and it's not near as scary or contested as it was the other time when you just left that corner route completely normal, where it goes pretty much straight into the deep third, and even outside third can play that ball. Now, tip number 3 is understanding stadium pulse and trying to figure out how to play around it. So as you can see, we're UCF versus Texas. I'm probably going to take a penalty here, but stadium pulse is on full bar, top right corner, ranked number 13 in the world. You can't do anything. I can't adjust a hot route. I can't do nothing. I get get a flag for trying to do it, but that was mainly because the play clock was so low. So I'll show you it one more time. So let's show it just one more time. Top right corner, as you can see, Stadium Pulse is crazy. Now there's all sorts of stuff going on my screen right now. I can't see my play art. I can't adjust anything. I can't make any hot routes at all. There's nothing I can do from a passing standpoint. With Stadium Pulse, the way it works in this game, it is going to be abundantly clear that you need to have a balanced offense at all times, even if you don't want to, but especially on the road. Otherwise, you will suffer terribly. As you just saw from the last drive, if you're trying to pass the ball every down, specifically on early downs, you're going to take penalties. You're not going to be able to get the hot routes you want off, and you're going to get behind the sticks, and it's going to be very difficult for you to actually get first downs and score major points when you are the away team if you don't have a balanced offense. So I would suggest trying to make sure you start with running the ball on first and second down whenever you're the away team, specifically when you're the away team, because there is hardly any effect on the run game, but it affects the passing game dramatically. So we're just going to run it a little stretch real quick, able to get up, able to get a few yards here, 7 yards, 2nd and 3. That's going to keep us ahead of the chains. Plays like that where we don't have to make adjustments to the pass game makes driving the ball when you're the away team much, much, much easier. And then if you do get trapped to a 3rd down and 3, 3rd down and 2, it's a different ball game because you can run or pass either way. Able to run the ball, able to get a first down, getting loose a little bit. Perfect. We keep the chains moving, and we haven't had to fight the Stadium Pulse one bit on this drive. All right, tip number 4 is learning how to stem your zones. Yes, that's brand new this year. Stem your zones to counteract what route combos your opponent is doing. Now, I will say this is the most likely scenario for this is kind of goes along with the tip that I'm going to give later in the video, which is recognizing what your opponent is doing and trying to counteract that with your own counters, right? But let's just take, for example, let's say this corner route on the far left X receiver has been torching you all game long. Let's say it's happened twice before. It just happens to keep getting open in whatever coverage you're doing, and you can't quite figure out the hot adjustment, so you want to just stem a zone back there. So let's take a look at that. You can actually stem your cloud flat on the left side to get deep enough to guard that corner route. So what you're going to want to do is double tap Y or triangle on PlayStation. Select the corner or the secondary player that you want to move or you want to stem. So in this case, it would be X or square on PlayStation. And then you're going to hold LB or L1 on PlayStation and just move the zone up or down like you see right here. So as you can see, we're moving it up and down. Now, I think this corner out got to about right here. So we're going to move this cloud flat all the way back here. And remember, it was a 5-yard cloud flat, but now it's going to play corner route that's what, 30 yards downfield. So let's just see if he's going to play defense on it. And as you can see, beautiful coverage, absolutely incompletable ball right there. So you just made a hot adjustment, and you can do that right at the line of scrimmage before the play starts. If you think a corner route's coming, or you know, let's say another route is going to go to another part of the field, you can stem any zone on the field to cover up weaknesses within your zone. Tip number 5 is understanding route combos. Now, I'm going to be talking really generically about route combos because obviously I can't just show you every route combo in existence in this video, but the overall spirit of this is 2 main things. You want the field to be balanced, like spaced out correctly, and you want the ability to have clear out routes. And clear out routes means pushing zones where you want them to go to be able to fit a ball where that zone is. So just looking at something like this, a flood concept on the right side, you have B on a clear out route. It's going to push a deep zone to the back. You've got a corner route and that flat route from A. That's going to create that high-low read on the right side. And then you have a deep dig to come back across the field. Let's say if one of those middle linebackers wants to go lurk that right side where all the routes are going, you're going to be able to hit them on the backside. Here we see another route combo that I think is really, really, really good. You have the clear out route to the left, X on a go route, pushing any deep zone, deep right there. You've also got B on a streak here too. It's just always good sometimes to have a random streak in a random seam because those just get open so well. They're very, very good. And then you have just the regular high-low read like we just talked about on the same. It's very similar to the last route combo on a conceptual basis, right? But you have RB going on a deep cross to the left, A on a drag going to the left. Unless they Mabel that side, they're going to have to make a decision on what they want to guard between those two. And then obviously you have that little curl route from the running back right in that middle linebacker spot. So that way, if they want to run over there with that guy or switch stick with that guy, they're going to have to pay for it because they're going to give you an easy check down. So I've shown you a couple of examples of what does make sense and what does properly space the field. And now I'm going to show you an example of something that doesn't. And it's a route concept like this. So let's just take a look at the right side first. RB and A, the reason why this doesn't work is just because they're too spaced together. You really don't want to have routes that are this close to each other because then one zone can guard both. And then secondly, if you want to look in the middle of the field, we have a slant from the right side B receiver coming across the middle. At the same time, we have a Texas route Y coming out of the backfield, and they're crossing each other at the same point. Now, every once in a while, you can have crossing patterns if you read a cover zero man, or you can have a crossing pattern if they are going through that spot at different times. However, if you look at this route combo right here, they're both short routes. They're both near the line of scrimmage. These are going to come back through right at that intersecting spot at around the same time, just too close together. And then you're going to have one defender be able to guard both for a pretty extended period of time. You're not really properly spacing the field. Thank you so much for watching to the halfway point. If you enjoyed the video so far, please leave a like and subscribe, and be sure to turn the noties on for your one-stop shop for all things college football 26. Now back to the video. Tip number 6 is on offense to play balanced and on schedule. So many offensive players in college football and in Madden struggle with this same idea of being extreme one way or another when it comes to passing and running the football. Playing a balanced game puts the defense in a very difficult spot. Additionally, as boring as it sounds, sometimes it is just straight up beneficial to run on rundowns and pass on pass downs. If you're a passing player, implementing that run game really opens up the rest of the field because they're going to have to bring more players into the box. And vice versa, if you prefer to run the ball, learning how to pass the ball out of similar formations that you run the ball in is going to have to make the defense think, because they're not just going to be able to pack the box and not be able to worry about anything else. Playing offense on schedule is something that very few players actually pay attention to, and I advise you to add this to your game. Understanding the time score situation and how you play call is that extra step of strategy that's going to give you an extra step on your opponent. Playing effectively around halftime and who gets ball at half can literally win you the game in many close matchups. Understanding the situation where you're on offense and maybe you're up 7 points and there's 3 minutes left in the half and you get ball at half. Knowing that you don't need to rush down the field, you really need to drain every second of the clock away so that way you can get 3 or 7 and then get the ball right back to extend your lead, as opposed to scoring quickly or trying to press and turn the ball over, and then all of a sudden you have a tie game going into halftime when you could be up 2 possessions. Those are the type of minuscule details that actually make a big impact on the result by the end of the game. I encourage you to really focus and think about what your play calls are reflecting at every certain part of the game. And those are the keys to playing offense balanced and on schedule. Now, tip number 7 is RPO and option defense. And man, let me tell you, I'm excited about this addition. Nothing was more annoying than facing the people who would spam these read options and the speed options over and over again, and you couldn't quite get your players to do what you wanted them to do. But after spending some time in practice mode, I'm here to tell you these work. So you're going to go right stick in to go to the coaching adjustments and go down. And these are the 4 important ones that I want us to look at: option read key, option pitch key, RPO read key, and RPO pass key. Now, they all start off on balanced, but you're going to want to input your own preferences here. And I think without a doubt, these are going to be the best ones to put into these slots. And I'll explain why. The rule of thumb with all 4 of these settings is you want to keep people from getting to the outside. That's what the pitches do. That's what, for example, the read option, when the quarterback keeps it and they run outside, they get to the outside after the defense is all biting on the inside stuff, so they get massive yardage just from walking up to the line and clicking A. The defensive settings back up to the top is conservative, which makes them focus on the quarterback more on the option, and then aggressive, which has them focus on the dive on the option. We want to put this on conservative. Handle the handoff to the inside. It basically just turns into an inside zone. Our defense can handle that. What we can handle is the quarterback keeping it, the entire defense flooding toward the inside zone or that handoff, and then the quarterback scampering out to the outside and getting 12 yards or 40 yards. The next one is option pitch key. And again, you've got balanced, conservative, and aggressive. Conservative focuses on the quarterback on the option, and aggressive focuses on the pitch. Now, the reason why we want to put this on aggressive is because take a look at your bottom right. gun tight open speed option. It's to counter plays with these speed option plays that just have the quarterback and the running back running out wide to the one side. Sometimes there's triple options, but the most hurtful thing that can happen is if they get to the outside, the whole defense focuses on the quarterback pitches it, and the halfback goes untouched down the sideline. So we want to avoid that at all costs. So putting the option pitch key to aggressive to focus on the pitch is really valuable to keep them from getting any more yards than they deserve. Additionally, it's also good to recognize that if you focus on the pitch, the quarterback, the correct read for the quarterback or the user running this would be to keep it with his quarterback. And what does that mean? That means that they're probably going to be taking hits with their quarterback, which is going to cause wear and tear over time. Anytime you can hit the quarterback in any scenario, it's a good thing. And just to show this in action, look, we've got the option pitch key on aggressive, so it should focus on pitch. I'm going to show you that this works so well against the speed option. So we're going to call speed option, and let's just see. They are set to play the pitch, and they absolutely do. You pitch it back there. They might even intercept it. Like, what a play like that. If they make the wrong read, they're going to have to pay for that. But look how well it defended against that play. So next, let's look at the RPO keys. RPO read key balanced and conservative, it focuses on the quarterback on the option. Aggressive, it focuses on the dive. An example of something like this is in the middle of your screen on the bottom. Gun you off trips weak, RPO alert bubble, where they have the inside handoff as well as the bubble route. An example of an RPO read or an RPO pass is seen at the bottom in the middle of your screen. Gun you off trips weak, RPO alert bubble. Now, there's not technically an opportunity for the quarterback to run in this specific play, but if they could, we would rather it be in conservative where they focus on the quarterback. Again, we can handle the handoffs up the middles. All defenses can handle handoffs up the middle because it's so rare that they go for major yards. What would go for major yards is if the whole defense bites on that and we give up either a quarterback run or the bubble route. And that actually brings us to the next setting, RPO pass key. Conservative focuses on pass coverages and aggressive focuses on stopping the run. We want to do the conservative, focus on pass coverage, because so many of these plays end up with the handoff in the middle, but they have an outside receiver, and it's difficult, especially in games past, for the defense to actually play those bubble routes, those slants, those zit, like those types of things that go along with RPOs. So we really want our defense and our secondary to mirror that well. So let's take a look just so we have proof of concept. We have RPO pass key on conservative. Let's see if they play that bubble route well. We snap the ball, we're looking for our bubble route, and it is absolutely covered. I think that's literally a loss of one. These are the types of plays in last year's game that would just, even if you tried to cover it, would put a hard flat out there, try to man it up. It just didn't seem like it was enough, and they would still gain at least 3 yards on it. Now they play it so well with that setting. Super thanks to EA for putting that setting in the game, because that's going to crush a lot of the bubblegum offense. Now, tip number 8 is going to be very short and simple, and it's adjust to your opponents. Now, on offense, that seems pretty obvious, right? Because if you see the same coverages over and over and over again, or the same looks, you're obviously going to adjust your play calling to better expose the defense that your opponent is in. But on defense, you have something that helps you out before the ball is even snapped, and it is seen right here in the middle left of your screen. You get to know the formation that the offense is in before they even come to the line of scrimmage, and that can help you in 2 different ways. Number 1, it just helps you know what they're in, so that way you can match personnel to personnel. But in another way, if your opponent runs the same formations and plays over and over and over again out of the same formations, then you're going to be able to recognize it, pick up on it, and pick a better defensive play to counter what they are doing. And that's an advantage that the defense get that the offensive player doesn't. We get to see their formation before we even come to the line of scrimmage. Tip number 9 is going to be passing settings. You're going to do that by pressing start, going down to options. You can also do this from the main menu, going to settings, and it will be really visible, easy to see right there, passing mechanics right underneath the game options. And I decided to use placement and accuracy. There's nothing wrong with revamp passing. If you want to use revamp passing, please feel free to. I'm just accustomed to using it in college football last year and in Madden for the past couple years. So I was kind of already on the lookout for some settings for placement and accuracy, and I actually stumbled upon Decrofts on Twitter. Decroft is a professional college football player. He won the major college football 25 tournament last year. So anything he has to say about passing, I'm all ears. So I decided to try out his settings, and I like them a whole lot so far. So we're on placement and accuracy for passing type, passing slowdown off, pass lead increase none, and reticle speed anywhere between 3 and 12, but I chose 10. Now, the cool part about placement and accuracy is that there are 3 different types of throws and 3 green or perfect release windows that you can hit. One of them is the lob, the other one is the touch pass, and the other one is the bullet pass. So let's take a look at the lob throw on the left side. Boom, able to hit that first window perfectly. Got a lob throw over to the left side. As you can see, it's kind of dashed up, one at the beginning, one in the middle, one at the end. So now let's try to throw a touch pass. Now this one's kind of hard to get in the middle. So let's see if we can. We almost got it there. We kind of got it in between the first and the second one, but luckily with these throws, there's a little bit more forgiveness when it comes between the lob and the touch pass since they're so similar. But now let's try for a bullet pass. We're going to throw a bullet pass for our drag route right here. And this one, you just kind of throw it, you just kind of let it go all the way to the end of that window. Since it's such a short pass, there's a giant perfect release window right there. So that is why I like this passing setting the most. I feel like I have a lot of control over the football. It feels like it comes out of my hand pretty quickly. And I have 3 opportunities to perfectly time it, determined by what I would like it to do. Now, lastly, tip number 10 is to utilize the practice mode like we were just in. You've seen multiple times in this video. Now, it's going to appear at the top because I was just in there, but the way you get to it is tab over twice to training and then go down to open practice. Once you click that, you're going to be able to choose the practice type. It can be normal, offense only, kickoff. Most of the time, I just choose normal and just choose who you want to face, what teams, what's your playbooks. You can switch it all up from here. I'm just going to go in with Texas and Texas Tech because it's easiest, but the point I'm trying to make here is utilize practice mode to your own benefit, guys. It is unlimited. There's no time clock. That's annoying. You're not putting any records at risk. Like if you're trying to keep your record good, you're not putting a record at risk, trying to lab stuff. Go in here and work out things like route combos, like your offensive strategy, like your defensive strategy. Go find blitzes. Go find ways to block certain blitzes that you're struggling against. Utilize this as your homework. Make this your lab session. Lab anything you don't know or you want to improve on in this practice mode, and you will see improvement in that area. I guarantee it. That'll wrap it up for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And with that, God bless and blitz out.